Good afternoon. I'm Debbie Hersman, Chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board. I'm joined today by Mr. Jim Southworth, who is our investigator in charge of this accident investigation here in New Jersey. Today we are providing our fourth briefing on our ongoing investigation and our team's activities. As you all know, we are conducting parallel activities that are underway. The NTSB is investigating the transportation accident, and the Coast Guard is responsible for the response and remediation activities that are taking place. This includes decisions about evacuations and protection for the community. They provided a briefing at 9 a.m. this morning, and we will continue to defer all questions about their activities to them. We are staying in continuous contact with the Coast Guard at the Unified Command. We will defer to them when it comes to decisions about life and safety. Since I briefed you yesterday, our team has been very busy. We are looking very closely at the mechanical operation of the movable bridge over Mantua Creek. Let me bring you up to speed on what we've talked about in our past briefings and what we've corroborated with current information and recorded information both from the signal system as well as the train. The train approached the bridge at about 7 miles per hour. It slowed and stopped after passing a yellow signal. There's a signal immediately prior to the bridge. It was red, but the bridge was in a closed position, meaning that the bridge was closed to recreational vessel traffic on Mantua Creek. They would have expected to see a red signal, but for the bridge to be in an open position. The train was on the north side of the tracks for the train was on the north side of the bridge for approximately 7.5 minutes. During that time, the engineer attempted to key in a code that would close and lock the bridge to give him that green signal to proceed. He keyed in a code. The signal did not change. It remained red. The conductor got out of the locomotive. He walked approximately 200 feet, walked the bridge. He came back and reported to the engineer that everything looked fine. The engineer then attempted to key in the code several more times. He did not get a clear or a green signal, and there was an automatic annunciation from the bridge that stated the bridge failed to operate. He called the dispatcher to request permission to proceed past the red signal. The dispatcher asked if they had taken a look at the bridge. The engineer replied that the conductor had gotten out, looked at the bridge, and everything looked fine. The dispatcher authorized them to proceed across the bridge. According to the event recorder, at approximately 7 a.m., the train began to move across the bridge. 2 locomotives and the first few cars in the train consist cleared the bridge. The crew provided a statement immediately after the accident, and in the crew's words from their statement, they described seeing the bridge collapse and the train derailment occur. At the same time, on the recorder, we can see the emergency braking begin to take place as the brake pressure is lost. It goes down very rapidly. The train brakes and stops. Once the train stops, we see that the crew is stopped there for approximately 20 minutes. The first call is coming in to dispatch police officers who are the first responders at about 7:03. They were also being notified by a resident very close to the tracks who happened to be the deputy fire chief for the community. The engineer and the conductor got out, they assessed the emergency, and they worked to assist emergency responders for about 20 minutes. And then they got back in the locomotive, cut the locomotives away from the cars, and pulled the locomotives away from the accident site. And then the emergency response activities began. We are looking into the operation of the Conrail Paulsboro movable bridge at this time. Let me tell you a little bit about the bridge. It is generally open to recreational vessel traffic on Mantua Creek from March 1st to December 1st. On December 1st, the default position is a closed position. That means it's closed to vessel traffic. When trains approach, they must key in a code to close the bridge. That means close the bridge, create a green signal so that the train can proceed across the bridge. And then once the entire train has proceeded across the bridge and cleared the track signal, the bridge will automatically reopen from March 1st to December 1st. There are continuous yellow signals as you approach the bridge. These are on the north and the south side of the bridge. These are warning signals letting them know that they're approaching the bridge to be prepared to stop, and they want to get in one of those blocks that's close to the bridge so they can actually visually see the vessel traffic before they key in the code to close the bridge. There's about a 100-foot block that they need to get into to key in to close the bridge. The signal system displays green only when the bridge is closed and locked, and then the train may proceed safely across the bridge. At all other times, the signal will display red. The bridge also enunciates 5 messages. Those messages could be things such as the bridge is opening, the bridge is closed, or failure to operate. This is a single track movable swing bridge, and when the bridge opens, 4 slide locks disengage to allow the bridge to move. When the bridge closes, all 4 slide locks must be fully locked in order for the bridge to be considered locked and for the signal to turn green. We are looking at the bridge's records, at the inspection records, and at work records that have been done. Conrail has a bridge plan. According to their bridge plan, once every 5 years, an underwater inspection of the bridge is to be conducted. The last time this inspection was done was in 2009. The next underwater inspection was due in 2014. In Conrail's bridge plan, they also identify semi-annual or twice a year structural inspections of the bridge. Those structural inspections were conducted in May and November of 2012. In Conrail's bridge plan, they also identify quarterly mechanical or movable hardware inspections that are to be conducted. The last inspection that we have records for was conducted in June 2012. For a quarterly inspection, we would have expected to see another inspection of the mechanical parts or the movable parts of the bridge in September of 2012. There is no record of such an inspection. We asked about inspections post-Sandy, and after Sandy came through, there were 2 cursory visual inspections conducted on the bridge on October 30th and October 31st. We've asked for records of work that has been done on the bridge since December 1st, 2011. There are 23 trouble tickets or work that needed to be done by railroad crews for this bridge. There are 9 trouble tickets since October 27th. Those trouble tickets, or those work orders, document things such as debris in the bridge or light bulbs that need to be replaced, but they also document some events that had to do with the movable part of the bridge and the locking mechanism. On November 19th at 11:21 p.m., a call was initiated and that created a trouble ticket. A crew walked the bridge and they noted that it was not locked. On the day before the accident, on November 29th at 3:17 a.m., a trouble ticket was initiated by a train crew that approached the bridge. They noted that the bridge was 4 inches shy of being locked and closed, 4 inches shy of being closed, that they keyed in the code and it closed after several attempts. They received a green signal and they proceeded across the bridge. Based on their trouble ticket, 2 supervisors from Conrail came out on November 29th in the morning between 9:30 and 10. They spent about 2 hours at the bridge. They inspected the bridge and they made adjustments so it would work properly, and they closed the trouble ticket. On November 29th, after that train that came through in 3:17 a.m., 4 additional trains passed over the bridge. The last train that passed over the bridge prior to our accident train crossed the bridge at about 11:15 p.m. on the 29th. They had a green signal. They crossed the bridge, and approximately 10 minutes later, over the radio, an annunciation stated, "Bridge failed to operate properly." Again, this is minutes after they had successfully cleared the bridge. They had passed the bridge, an announcement came out, "Bridge failed to operate." Today, we continue to gather records, conduct interviews, and we are prepared to document the accident site as soon as we are provided access to the site following the remediation activities. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, but your assessment here then is that you have a combination of things, mechanical issues, some missing inspection reports that should have been done, plus possibly human error when the bridge was physically looked at by the conductor before getting the go-ahead to cross.
Is there a question in there?
I'm saying, is that what you're looking at, the possibility that you have human failure and mechanical failure coming together to cause all of this?
The question is, what are the issues that the NTSB is looking at regarding the cause of the accident? We won't be determining the cause of the accident while we're on scene. We are in the preliminary phases. We're still gathering factual information, evidence, conducting interviews. We still have a lot of work to do. Nothing has been ruled out, but I wanted to make it very clear to you about what we were looking at, some of the issues that our team is focused on, and I want to make sure, most importantly, that you are able to present the information accurately.
Do you believe that the red signal that they got several times before they went and visually inspected the bridge and then crossed it and then the bridge collapsed, do you believe that perhaps the bridge was not locked properly, and could that have caused the bridge to collapse?
The question that I received is about whether or not the bridge was locked properly and the red signals that the crew received. We are investigating everything at this point. Nothing is off the table. There's a lot of work to be done. We have gathered a number of records. We've conducted a number of interviews, and there are some things that we are focusing on or looking at. We will not be determining probable cause on scene. We still have to gather all of the information, and it is extremely important for our team to get access to the accident scene, to look at the wreckage, to document the bridge, to document the condition of the mechanical operations that are on the bridge, and we will work to do that in the coming days.
If I may.
The cargo that was being carried, would it have been more prudent for for someone to say, listen, let's not go across this bridge until we definitely have a green?
The question is, given the cargo that was being carried, should the crew have stopped on the other side of the bridge or waited for a green signal? That is exactly what we are looking at. We're looking at the information that's provided to the crew. We're looking at the training that they receive. We're looking at procedures. We're looking at processes, and we're looking at communication. What we know is that the crew complied with the rules that they have in their operations. They had a red signal. They walked the track. They requested permission from the dispatcher to proceed past the red signal. They received permission. Whether or not those procedures are adequate or whether or not they're conservative enough, those are things that we will be looking at. If we identify safety areas that we think need immediate attention, we have the ability to issue recommendations, safety recommendations, and our team is looking at everything right now.
So the follow-up question, if I may, ma'am, the follow-up question that I didn't hear an answer to was, if the bridge was not locked, could that have caused that bridge to collapse when the train went on top of it?
The question is, if the bridge was not locked, could that have caused the train, if the bridge was not locked,
on top of the bridge to cause the bridge to collapse?
If the bridge was not locked, could that have caused the bridge to collapse? We need to look at the bridge to even determine at this point if the bridge is collapsed. The crew has reported, as they looked back, they saw the bridge collapsing. But we need to get on scene. We need to document the condition of the bridge structure, and the operations of the bridge. We have a lot of work to do before we determine the cause of this accident, and so we're happy to provide factual information, but don't jump to conclusions without the full picture.
Deborah, when the last train went across and it had the failure to operate on enunciation, would that have meant that the bridge had remained closed? Is that what that enunciation moving forward? Do it both, or it be open, not opening, or remaining closed?
The question is, the prior train that had come through about 11:15 the night before, they received an enunciation that says the bridge failed to operate. What kind of events would create that type of enunciation? What we know is that when a train passes across the bridge at this time of year, while the bridge is open generally, that as that last car passes across, there's some logic built into the track system that will work to reopen that bridge to vessel traffic. When that activity took place and they were working, the mechanical operation was working to reopen the bridge, something did not perform as expected in the logic. It enunciated a message that said bridge failed to operate. They could get that message whether the bridge failed to open properly or the bridge failed to close properly. We still have a lot of work to do to take a look at that. It's very important for us to get out on scene and document the bridge position, and the locks.
How frustrating is it not to be able to get on the site? People have been evacuated from this town, and there are some safety and health concerns, I guess, for people. They seem to have so many red flags prior to this derailment, but went ahead across that bridge. As a safety organization, I mean, how troubling is it to you guys to think, maybe they should avoid it?
The question is, what kind of information have we received, and how concerned are we about the evidence that we have documented thus far? The NTSB is an agency that investigates transportation accidents in all modes. We wouldn't be here if something hadn't gone wrong. We are here because there was a derailment and there's been a hazardous materials release. We are working to get to the bottom of it, to understand what happened and why it happened, so we can make recommendations to prevent it from happening again. I'd be happy to take one more question. The question is, when do we expect to get on scene? Our team is working very closely with the Unified Command. We're prepared and we are ready to go on scene when we're given access. What is really the utmost importance to everyone is the safety of the community as they remediate that product. And just as the community needs to be safe, so do our investigators, and we will defer to them to tell us when the scene is safe and when we can go in. We're ready to go, and we will do our work when we get there. We still have a lot of work ahead of us. Our team is busy today As you can see, there's a lot of records to go through and a lot of interviews to conduct. We will be providing additional information, whether we provide it in person or via a press briefing, a press release. Our team will make that determination based on how much information we have to share with you. Please make sure that our press team has your contact information, your email, and follow us on our Twitter account, and we will make sure that you know our plans. Thank you very much.